5. Surprising foods to reverse fatty liver fast. What if the most powerful tool to heal your liver wasn't a prescription, but was already sitting in your pantry? You might think you know the rules for a healthy liver. Avoid alcohol, cut back on sugar. And while that's true, it's really only half the story. There's a silent epidemic happening right now. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD, and it affects an estimated 1 in 4 people worldwide. The scary part is many people who have it don't even know. They've been told their fatigue is just stress, their slight belly discomfort is indigestion, and their trouble losing weight is just a lack of willpower. They're following the basic health rules, yet their liver is quietly getting overwhelmed, storing up fat that can lead to dangerous inflammation, scarring, and eventually serious conditions like cirrhosis and liver failure. But what if the conventional wisdom is missing some of the most powerful, easy-to-find solutions? What if I told you that some of the most humble foods you probably walk past in the grocery store every single day, hold the key to not just stopping, but actually reversing the buildup of fat in your liver? We're not talking about expensive, hard-to-find supplements. We're talking about real whole foods. Today, we're going to talk about 5 of them. 5 surprising science-backed foods that can help your liver start to heal itself right now. And number 3 on our list will probably shock you. It's a drink millions of people have every single day, with no idea how protective it is for their liver. Stick with me, because this could be the turning point you've been looking for. Section 1. The problem. Understanding the silent epidemic of fatty liver. Before we get to these 5 foods, we need to understand exactly what we're up against. What is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and why is it called a silent epidemic? Your liver is a powerhouse. It's a large, tough organ, weighing about 3 pounds, tucked right under your rib cage. It does over 500 vital jobs, from filtering toxins out of your blood to making bile for digestion and managing cholesterol. It's your body's master chemist and detox plant. A healthy liver has almost no fat in it. But NAFLD starts when fat begins to build up in the liver cells. The official diagnosis comes when more than 5% of your liver's weight is fat. Think of it this way. Your liver cells are like little processing centers. When they're working right, they handle fats efficiently, either burning them for energy or sending them out to the rest of the body. But when they get overwhelmed, they just start storing that fat inside themselves. This first stage is often called simple fatty liver. At this point, it's usually harmless. There are no symptoms, and it might only be found by accident during an ultrasound for something else. That silence is the real danger. Because it doesn't set off any immediate alarms, the root causes don't get fixed. And what are those causes? For a long time, fatty liver was mostly linked to drinking too much alcohol. But NAFLD happens in people who drink little to no alcohol. Instead, it's tied directly to our modern diet and lifestyle. The main culprits are the usual suspects: a diet high in processed foods, refined carbs like white bread and pastries, and especially sugary drinks. One of the biggest drivers is a condition called insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone that acts like a key, unlocking your cells so glucose, or sugar, can get inside to be used for energy. When you constantly eat more sugar and refined carbs than your body needs, your cells start to ignore insulin's signal. It's like the key gets rusty and doesn't fit the lock anymore. So your pancreas pumps out even more insulin to try and force the glucose in. All that extra insulin tells your liver to go into fat storage mode. It starts turning any extra sugar into fat in a process that literally means making new fat. That new fat gets stored right there in the liver, kicking off the cycle of NAFLD. And this isn't just a problem for people who are overweight. While obesity is a big risk factor, more and more lean people are being diagnosed with NAFLD. This just goes to show that body weight alone doesn't tell the whole story. It's your metabolic health and the types of food you're eating that really matter. The trouble really begins when simple fatty liver gets worse. For a lot of people, that extra fat doesn't just sit there. It triggers an immune response. The body sees the fat-filled liver cells as stressed and damaged, and it sends in inflammatory cells to clean up the mess. This stage is called non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH. This is where the disease stops being silent and starts being destructive. NASH means you have fat, inflammation, and liver cell injury all at once. The symptoms might still be vague and easy to ignore: a deep, persistent fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, a dull ache in your upper right abdomen, or just a general feeling of being unwell. This chronic inflammation is like a slow-burning fire in your liver. Over time, as the liver tries to heal the damage, it creates bands of scar tissue. This is called fibrosis. As more and more healthy liver tissue gets replaced by this hard, fibrous tissue, the liver can't do its job properly. If it keeps going, it can lead to cirrhosis, an advanced stage of scarring where the liver is so damaged it can fail. Cirrhosis dramatically increases the risk of liver failure and liver cancer, and at that point, the damage is mostly irreversible. This progression, from simple fat to inflammation to scarring, is what we want to stop and reverse. And the incredible news is that in the earlier stages, before major scarring happens, fatty liver is reversible. Your liver has an amazing ability to heal itself. If you remove the burden, it can get better. The problem is, most people wait for the alarm bells, the major symptoms like jaundice, swelling, and severe pain. But the real signals are the whispers, the constant fatigue, the stubborn belly fat, the brain fog, the slightly high liver enzymes on a blood test. These are the early warnings, and your diet is the single most powerful tool you have to answer that call. It's not about restriction, it's about smart additions. It's about loading your plate with foods that actively help your liver, reduce inflammation, fix insulin sensitivity, and turn on its natural healing powers. That's the solution we're focusing on today. So, enough about the problem. Let's get to the powerful, practical solution. Let's explore the 5 surprising foods that can help you take back your liver health. Section 2. The Listicle. 5 surprising foods to reverse fatty liver. Food number 1. Beans and legumes. When you think superfoods, you probably picture exotic berries from some remote jungle. But our first liver-healing hero is one of the most humble, affordable, and everyday foods there is. Beans. That's right, chickpeas, lentils, black beans, fava beans, and the whole legume family. These aren't just filler foods, they're metabolic powerhouses, and they help a fatty liver in a few powerful ways. So why are beans so good for this? First off, it's their incredible fiber. Beans are packed with a specific type called soluble fiber, which forms a gel in your digestive tract. This gel does something amazing. It slows down how quickly sugar gets into your bloodstream. This prevents the sharp blood sugar spikes that drive insulin resistance, the very thing that tells your liver to make and store fat. By keeping your blood sugar stable, you take a huge load off your liver. But there's more. Beans are also rich in something called resistant starch. Just like the name sounds, this starch resists digestion in your small intestine. Instead, it travels down to your large intestine, where it becomes food for your good gut bacteria. This is where the magic really happens. Your gut health is directly connected to your liver's health through something called the gut-liver axis. When you feed your good gut bacteria with resistant starch, they create compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These have powerful anti-inflammatory effects all over the body, including in the liver. They also help keep your gut lining strong, which stops toxins from leaking into your bloodstream and getting to the liver. On top of all that, beans give you high-quality plant-based protein. This is important for 2 reasons. First, protein helps you feel full and satisfied, which helps with weight management, a key part of reversing fatty liver. Losing even 5–10% of your body weight can dramatically cut down on liver fat and inflammation. Second, choosing plant-based protein from beans instead of too much animal protein can be less stressful for the liver to process. Research has even shown a direct link between eating legumes and having a lower risk of NAFLD. So, how do you get more of these into your life? It's easier than you think. Aim for at least 1 serving a day. Add a can of chickpeas, just rinse them to get rid of extra salt to your salad. Make a big pot of lentil soup. Swap out the ground meat in your chili or tacos for black beans. You can even blend white beans into a creamy, fiber-rich base for soups and sauces. If you're worried about gas, just start with small portions and make sure to rinse canned beans well or soak dry beans overnight. This simple, humble food is a true frontline soldier in the fight against fatty liver. Food number 2, cruciferous vegetables. Our second surprising food isn't just one thing, but a whole family of them. Cruciferous vegetables. We're talking about broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and cabbage. You've probably been told to eat your greens your whole life. But you might not know the specific reason why these vegetables are liver savers. Their secret weapon is sulfur-containing compounds, especially one called sulforaphane. Think of your liver's detox system as having two phases. Phase 1 is like gathering up the trash. Phase 2 is where the real work happens. It's about packaging up those toxins so they can be safely removed from the body. Sulforaphane is a powerful way to switch on this Phase 2 detox pathway. It basically tells your genes to start making more of these critical detox enzymes, helping your liver clear out all the junk that can lead to inflammation and fat storage. Research in animals has shown that broccoli can help speed up the breakdown of fat that's already in the liver. It doesn't just prevent more fat from being stored, it helps the liver clean out what's already there. These vegetables give your liver the tools it needs to do a deep clean. Beyond detox, the compounds in cruciferous veggies are powerful antioxidants. Oxidative stress is a huge part of what makes fatty liver progress to the more dangerous stage, NASH. The antioxidants in kale, Brussels sprouts, and their cousins help neutralize harmful molecules called free radicals, protecting your liver cells from damage and cooling down the fire of inflammation. Let's make this practical. A lot of people are turned off by the bitter taste of some of these veggies, but it's all in the preparation. Don't just boil them into a sad, mushy pile. Try roasting Brussels sprouts with a little olive oil until they're crispy and caramelized. It brings out a surprising sweetness. Finally, chop up some raw kale and massage it with lemon juice and olive oil for a tender, delicious salad. Lightly steam broccoli to keep its nutrients intact. Try to get at least one serving of a cruciferous vegetable in every single day. Whether it's a side of steamed broccoli with dinner or a handful of kale in your smoothie, you're actively helping your liver detox and heal. Food number 3, coffee. All right, here's the one that might make you do a double take. For years, we've gone back and forth on whether coffee is good or bad for us. Well, when it comes to liver health, the science is becoming crystal clear. Coffee is a superstar. This is probably the most surprising food on the list because it seems to go against old-school health advice. Yet study after study has shown that regular coffee drinking is strongly linked to a lower risk of liver damage. So what is it about our morning cup that's so protective? It's not just the caffeine, though that helps. Coffee is a complex drink with over 1,000 active compounds, including a ton of powerful antioxidants. One of the most important groups are polyphenols called chlorogenic acids. These have been shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the liver. They also seem to help improve how your body handles sugar and insulin, getting right to the root cause of fat buildup. The evidence is pretty amazing. One huge review of 11 different studies found that regular coffee drinkers had a significantly lower risk of developing NAFLD, and it doesn't stop there. For people who already have fatty liver, coffee has been shown to slow down the disease's progression and reduce the risk of fibrosis, that dangerous scarring that leads to cirrhosis. It seems the compounds in coffee might actually stop scar tissue from forming in the first place. In fact, University of Chicago Medicine has even stated they recommend patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease drink 3 cups of coffee a day. That's a powerful recommendation based on a ton of clinical evidence. Now, here's the most important part. How you drink your coffee matters. A lot. The benefits are in black coffee. If you load it up with sugar, cream, and flavored syrups, you completely cancel out the benefits. In fact, you're just adding to the problem by giving your liver more sugar to deal with. So, the recommendation is for plain black coffee. If you can't stand it black, a small splash of unsweetened plant-based milk is a much better choice. Both regular and decaf seem to work, since many of the protective compounds are in both, though some research suggests regular might have a slight edge. If you're already a coffee drinker, this is great news. Keep enjoying your daily cup or two, just make sure it's in its purest form. If you don't drink coffee, you don't have to start. The other foods on this list are incredibly powerful too. But for the millions who already love it, you can now think of your morning coffee not as a guilty pleasure, but as a daily dose of therapy for your liver. Food number 4, fatty fish. Our fourth food might sound wrong. You have a fatty liver, so you should avoid eating fatty fish, right? Nope. You just need to eat the right kinds of fat, and the undisputed champions of healthy fats are the omega-3 fatty acids you find in fish like salmon, mackerel, trout, and sardines. The typical modern diet is way out of balance when it comes to fats. We tend to eat a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, found in many vegetable oils and processed foods, and very few omega-3s. While we need some omega-6s, having too many of them compared to omega-3s promotes inflammation all over the body, including the liver. Fatty fish helps fix this imbalance by giving you a powerful dose of the best omega-3s, EPA and DHA. These omega-3s are incredible anti-inflammatories. They work on a cellular level to cool down that inflammatory fire that makes fatty liver so dangerous. Even better, multiple studies have confirmed that omega-3s can directly reduce the amount of fat in the liver. A meta-analysis showed that taking omega-3s was an effective treatment for NAFLD, helping to decrease liver fat. How do they do it? They seem to improve insulin sensitivity, which means your cells respond better to insulin and the liver doesn't have to make and store so much fat. They also help lower triglycerides in the blood, which are a type of fat that contributes to the problem. By bringing those levels down, you're taking a direct burden off your liver. While salmon is pretty common, fish like sardines and mackerel might seem a little more exotic to some, but they are worth trying. Sardines, especially, are not only packed with omega-3s, but also calcium and vitamin D. Because they're small and low on the food chain, they have very low levels of mercury, making them a safe and smart choice. The goal should be to eat at least 2 servings of fatty fish per week. A serving is about 3 to 4 ounces, or the size of a deck of cards. The best way to cook it is by baking, grilling, or steaming to avoid adding unhealthy fats. A piece of baked salmon with a side of steamed broccoli is a true liver-healing super meal. You can also mash up canned sardines with some avocado and lemon juice for a quick, incredibly healthy lunch. If you just can't stand fish, a high-quality fish oil supplement with both EPA and DHA is another option, though getting nutrients from whole foods is always best. Food number 5. Turmeric. Our final surprising food isn't really a food, but a vibrant golden spice that's been used in medicine for centuries: turmeric. It makes our list because of its active ingredient, curcumin, which is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds ever discovered. As we've talked about, the main thing that causes damage in fatty liver disease is chronic inflammation. Curcumin targets this inflammation directly. It's been shown to block the activity of inflammatory molecules in the body, calming the storm inside your liver. This helps protect liver cells from the kind of damage that leads to scarring and cirrhosis. Scientists have been very interested in curcumin for NAFLD, and the results are exciting. Several clinical trials have shown its benefits. One review found that curcumin can significantly lower the levels of 2 key liver enzymes, ALT and AST. When the liver is damaged, these enzymes leak into the blood, so high levels are a sign of trouble. By lowering these enzymes, curcumin shows a direct protective effect. Another study gave NAFLD patients a combination of curcumin and piperine, which comes from black pepper and helps your body absorb curcumin for 12 weeks. The results were clear. They saw a significant improvement in the severity of their fatty liver on an ultrasound, compared to the group that got a placebo. This shows that curcumin can lead to a real measurable reduction in liver fat. That addition of piperine is key. On its own, curcumin is hard for the body to absorb, but with piperine, its availability goes up by 2,000%. Adding turmeric to your diet is a simple and powerful move. You can add this warming spice to curries, lentil soups, and roasted vegetables. Always add a pinch of black pepper with it to get those absorption benefits. You can also make a golden milk latte by warming up milk, or a plant-based alternative with turmeric, black pepper, and other spices like ginger and cinnamon. For a stronger dose, curcumin supplements are also an option. If you go that route, look for one that includes piperine. And, as always, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor before starting any new supplement. You now have 5 powerful science-backed tools to fight fatty liver disease. We've covered a lot, and just taking that first step is the most important part. So I want you to do 2 things for me right now. First, if you found this information valuable, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We release in-depth videos like this every week to empower you on your health journey, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Second, check out our other video, The 3 Drinks That Cleanse Your Liver, for even more strategies you can start using today. The link is right there in the description. Conclusion. Let's do a quick recap of the 5 surprising foods we talked about today. The fiber-packed power of beans and legumes, the detox-supporting strength of cruciferous vegetables, the shockingly protective benefits of black coffee, the anti-inflammatory might of fatty fish, and the golden healing spice, turmeric. The key takeaway is this: you have more control over your liver health than you might think. Reversing fatty liver isn't about some magic pill. It's about making a series of smart, consistent choices. It's about avoiding the foods that overload your liver, the sugars, refined flours, and processed fats, and, more importantly, embracing the foods that actively help it heal. The journey to a healthy liver begins on your plate. By strategically adding these 5 foods to a balanced diet, you're not just managing a condition, you're sending a powerful signal to your body that it's time to heal. You are unburdening your liver, reducing inflammation, and paving the way for a healthier, more vibrant future. Thank you for investing this time in your health. Now let's get to it.